All right. Yeah, morning all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear? Yes, fine. Thank you. Reasons. Okay. Reasons which makes Python suddenly super popular, right? Suddenly super popular. First thing is very less code you see. Very less code. Secondly, simple. The syntax is given by Python. Simple syntaxes looks like normal English statements. Thirdly, it has got interactive mode. We can easily interact with Python statement by statement. For every statement, it gives response, right? And multi-programming features. What all the programming features we see in different other programming languages? Yes, we see here in Python. Next, wide varieties of applications, right? Wide varieties of applications. Many built-in, many built-in libraries. Libraries, right? Has got nearly thousands of modules, 89,300 inbuilt modules. Python has got for different environment, right? So these are the reasons which makes Python super popular. That is very less code, simple syntaxes, interactive mode, multi-programming features, wide varieties of applications, and many built-in libraries like 89,300 modules. So today, just I'll enter in the technicals of Python, right? What is before we go with this installation, you need to know something about the Python Software Foundation, PSF. What is Python Software Foundation? Hmm. You should know something about the PSF. It is a non-profit organization, right? Devoted towards Python community. It is a non-profit organization devoted towards Python community, right? It was launched in the year PSF was it was launched. It was launched in the year 2001, like more than 23 years ago. It was launched, and the main objective of this Python Software Foundation is to foster the development, right? To foster the development of Python from version to version. To foster the development of Python from version to version. To foster, okay. In the year 2000, in the year 2005, Python Software Foundation PSF received Computer World Horizon Award, right? It received Computer World Horizon Award. The president for this TSF nothing but Guido van Rossum. Guido van Rossum. He is the personality who introduced Python. The same personality is the president for this Python Software Foundation and headquarters. Where are the headquarters, right? Yes. In Delaware, US. In Delaware, US. Official website, right? Official website. www.python.org. This is the official website of Python. www.python.org is the official website from where we can download Python and where we can see the documentation for each and every Python release. Okay, fine. Next is before I go with the installation, you need to know something about the Python versions. Python versions, right? Right. First thing, right. Python 1.x version. The first version was released in the year 1989. Python 2.x version in the year 2000. 2.x means 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. The first two version was released in the year 2000. Python 3.x version. The version what we are using currently is 3 version. It was released in the year 2008. Latest version of Python. Latest version of Python. Latest version of Python. Python. Python 3.12, right? Stable version of Python. Stable version of Python, right? 3.11. Stable version is nothing but mostly used version. Mostly used version, right? Yes. Python installation next. Python installation. Okay. So just I'll show you from how to install Python. It hardly takes 2 minutes to install Python. So before I go with that, this settings, apps, first I'll uninstall and show you how to download and how to install Python. Python 3.12, right? Yes. Uninstall. Uninstall 3.12, uninstall it. Okay, Python is going to provide different softwares for different environments, but it is going to provide different softwares for different environments. So for Windows, for Linux, and for Mac OS, right? For Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. It is going to provide different softwares for this Windows, Linux, Mac OS. So for Linux, no need of any installation. By default, Python comes as inbuilt along with the Linux operating system. But for Windows and for Mac OS, we are supposed to install Python, right? So for Windows, Python is providing two softwares. For Windows 32-bit, one software. For Windows 64-bit, the other software, right? How will you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit? Uninstallation was successful. To check your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit, uh, go to your go to the File Explorer, right click on your PC or computer, this PC or computer, and right click and say Properties. Right click on your computer or PC and say Properties, right? What it is saying? 64-bit operating system. Right click on this PC, Properties, you will see that 64-bit operating system. But if you're using older version of Windows, like Windows 7 or Windows 8, 64-bit. If you have got 32-bit, then you are supposed to download 32-bit Python software. If you have got 64-bit, then download 64-bit Python software. Right? So at the bottom, now what is the official website of Python? Official website of Python, right? Python.org. www.python.org. This is the official website. Python.org is the official website of Python, from where we can download Python. Right, downloads. In the downloads, click all releases. Click all releases, right? And scroll down. Scroll down to the bottom, right? Scroll down to the bottom, right? Don't go for active Python releases. Looking for a specific release. Looking for a specific release. Scroll down. Scroll down. 3.12.3. 3.12.3, right? Click this 3.12.3. Yes, the version the latest version, right? Yes. And scroll down to the bottom of this. You will see files. You will be seeing files, right? In that, for Mac OS 64-bit universal installer, for Windows installer 64-bit, Windows installer 32-bit, Windows installer 64-bit. Select with 64-bit. Your download started here, right? Your download started. So just 25 MB of size, right? Just 25 MB of size. Install this Windows installer 64-bit, your download automatically starts. One second. One second. Yes. So whenever you go to the downloads folder, python.org downloads folders, select all releases. In that, go to specific release, select Python 3.12.3. In that, Windows installer 64-bit is there, Windows installer 32-bit is there. If you click this Windows installer 64-bit, your download starts here. Download is completed. So it is showing 25.5 MB of size. Can you see here 25.5 MB of size? Now just click this exe file, click that exe file, right. Don't immediately go for installation. Don't immediately go for installation. First, at the bottom, you can see add Python to path. Add Python to path. Add Python to path means adding Python to the path variable of OS. And go for customize. Go for customize installation. Documentation, pip, ideally Python test suite. Everything are pre-selected, nothing to select here. Everything are pre-selected. Say next. Here also nothing to select. And here installation location is asking by default in C users Dell app data local programs Python 3.12 where it is getting installed in C drive users Dell app data local programs Python 3.12, right? So tomorrow if you want to locate Python where it is getting installed, where it has got installed, it is too difficult, right? You need to enter into all the subdirectories. So just install Python in the C drive. Just I'm installing Python within the C drive. I'm just removing all this. Just remove all this path. C/Python 3.12. C/Python 3.12, right? 3.12 Python 3.12 means Python 3.12 means a folder is going to get created with this name, right? With Python 3.12, a folder is going to get created. Within this folder, the Python is going to get installed. Let's say install. So hardly it takes 1 minute for installing Python, right? 1 second. Setup was successful, right? Yes. Close this. How will you check? Okay, just close this. And how will you check whether your Python is successfully installed or not? Just at the bottom, right? Within the command, type CMD in the search, in the bottom search, type CMD and go to the command prompt. And type Python here. Whenever you type Python and say enter, you are going to get this Python version. You will be getting this Python version, right? And this Python interpreter is going to get opened. Just say 3 plus 4. Check with any 34 into 42. X as 10, Y as 5. What is X? What is Y? What is X plus Y? X minus Y, X into Y, X by Y, right? X, X into 2, X to the power of 2, 10 square. So in this way, any valid X equal to Ajay, Y equal to Kumar, X plus Y, Ajay plus Kumar, sorry, Y equal to Kumar, X plus Y, Prince Ajay Kumar, right? In this way, any valid statements you can type and you can interact with Python statement by statement. For every statement, it use response of yes. Okay, so Python is working, right? Now, Python installation. If anybody working in Linux environment, and if you want the latest version of Python to be installed in your Linux machine, so just this command is going to download and install Python, right? So you need to do everything from the root user, apt and get install Python 3.12, right? apt and get install Python this version automatic this command, right? Automatically downloads and installs Python in your Linux machine, right? Python execution modes. Python execution modes. Two modes of execution. Two modes of execution. Two modes of execution, right? Yes. Interactive mode, right? Interactive mode. Second is like batch mode. Python provides two modes of execution, interactive mode, secondly batch mode. Interactive mode. Here we directly type Python statements. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter, on the Python interpreter, right? And the user can easily interact. And the user can easily interact. Interact with Python. Interact with Python statement by statement. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python statement by statement. Okay, the advantage, right? The advantage of this interactive mode. If you doesn't know about any Python functionality, you can type and check, right, what output it is going to provide in the interactive mode. To test the functionalities of Python, to test the functionalities, right? And to learn Python and to test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python batch mode. Here we write a batch of statements. Here we write a batch of statements, right? We write batch of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension and save it by using .py extension. We write a batch of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension, later submit to Python, right? Yes. What are the various editors where we can write the Python code? Various editors, right? Various editors. Notepad. Secondly, like Edit Plus. In Windows environment, right? We use these editors for writing Python code and creating .py file. In the case of Linux, VI editor, Nano editor. These two are for Windows, these two are for Linux environment, right? What are the various IDEs? IDE supported by Python. PyCharm, right? PyCharm is the one. PyDev. Various editors supported by Python. Various IDEs. Integrated Development Environment. PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter Notebook, VS Code, right? So why these many IDs for Python? Why not one or two? Means Python is used for different environments. Different environments use different IDs. Like data science uses Jupyter Notebook, Spider ID. Even big data environment uses Spider, Jupyter, right? And typical web applications use PyCharm, VS Code. And among all this, PyCharm is the mostly used one, mostly used IDE for Python. Okay. Developing the first Python application within a editor. Within a editor, right? Yes. Developing the first Python application within a editor. Example like Notepad. Developing the first Python application within a editor. Example like Notepad. Open Notepad and type open Notepad and type the following Python statements. Up to now, we didn't discuss anything about Python, right? We didn't discuss anything about Python. Okay. So just I'll take two values, 10 and 20. And I want to perform some kind of addition, subtraction, x plus y, x minus y, x into y, print x by y. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Just I'll copy this to a separate notepad file. Yes, Control C. I'm just copying to a separate notepad file. Yes. Within the notepad file, just I'm pasting here. So file, save. I created a separate folder, right? Python 6am bash within the C drive. Within that, I'm saving it as sample1.py, right? Okay. What is that? Saved as sample1.py. Now submit this file. Now submit this file to Python as. Now submit this file to Python as, right? Yes. Go to command prompt by typing cmd. Go ahead. Type say Python. Type Python and just give the entire path of the file. Give the entire path of the file where your file is available within the C drive. Python 6am batch. Python 6am batch, right? Sample1 dot 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes. Yes. Just to the Python, entire path is specified, right? The file name, the folder name, and in which drive it is present, it just gives the output. But here we are writing the code. We are writing the code at one place. We are writing the code at one place. Hence, within the notepad you are writing and executing at the other place. Here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. And executing at the other place. Other place means within the command prompt. But to write and execute at the same place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE. We're writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation. IDLE means integrated development learning environment, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute. We can write and execute at the same place. Here we are writing the code at one place and executing at other place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute at the same place. Now, to open this IDLE at the bottom, search type IDLE. You will see this Python 3.12, right? Python shell gets opened in this way. This is one way of opening. Another way is in the start programs, what all the programs where all your programs applications are installed. Just go to this, go to the installed apps, Python 3.12. If you click, the first one what we see is IDLE. Otherwise, in the search, you can type IDLE, right? Yes. Okay. We have got IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute at the same place. So just I'll take the same code. You take the same code and search for IDLE here. IDLE, you can say Python 3.12. This Python shell gets opened for interactive mode. You can say any valid Python statements 34 into 2. But I doesn't want interactive mode. Say file, new file. Here you can write your code, save your code, x is 10, y is 20. Save your code, run module, sorry, save your file. Python 6 AM batch. Sample2.py, save it as sample2.py, right? Save as sample2.py, right? Hmm. Now run module. Here itself we can write and execute. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. So we'll write the code here itself and we'll run the code here itself. Run module. Writing the code here itself and executing here itself. Right? Yes. So later I discuss about the IDs, right? How to download and install different IDs and run the code within the IDs after we are done with a little bit of technical content, right? So just I'll give introduction to this data types and variables. Data types and variables. Data types and variables, right? Every organization every organization, right? Use case. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data and operations. Data represented, right? Data represented using data types and variables. Operations represented using functions. Operations represented using functions. Data represented using data types and variables. Operations represented using functions. About functions, we'll discuss later, but our discussion is on data types and variables. Any organization has got data and operations. For example, take example of a bank. Bank has got a data and operations. Data, right? Customer data, customer name, account number, his address, his balance, his branch. Operations, deposit operations, withdraw operation, transfer operations, right? Yes. Yes. Okay, fine. Now, just observe this, right? One second. Just observe this comparison of data types in other programming languages compared with Python, right? Just observe this. C or C++ or Java comparison with Python, right? Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports dynamic data types. In other programming language, if you want to define a variable like index or float y or a string value, right? So compulsory, this data type defining is compulsory, right? In other programming languages. But in Python, directly we can say x has 10, directly we can say y has 4.5. No need to define the data types here. But here, what kind of variable x is? Here, what kind of variable x is means based on the data type defining, you are saying it is an integer variable. What kind of variable y is means based on this data type defining, you are saying it as float type. This is string type. Z is what kind of variable? String variable. But here in Python, what kind of variable x is? Means based upon what value you are assigning to it. As you are assigning a integer value, integer variable is created. If you are assigning a float value, float variable is created. So to know the type of a variable in Python, we have got a type function. Type of x is what type? Int type. Why it is integer type? You assign a integer value to it. Type of y is what type? Float type. Type of y is what type? Float type, because you assigned a float value. Type of z is what type? String type, because you assigned a string value to it, right? Based upon what value you are assigning. If you're assigning a integer value, integer variable. If you're assigning a float value, float variable. If you're assigning a string value, string variable, right? Depending upon what value is assigned, based on that, the variable x is created dynamically during runtime. To make you understand much better, right? Yes. Just I'll take 5-10 minutes. Case 1, I'm going to discuss some 4 cases. X value is 10. Internally, one object is going to get created. Internally, one object with value 10 will be created with some address. The address is given to X. So the object is going to occupy some physical memory location address. What X is storing? Don't say X is storing 10. X stores this address. Whenever we say print X, right, it goes to this address and prints whatever present at that address. Prints the content at that address. Prints the content at that address. What is the content? 10. ID of X. If you want to print the address, right? Print the address, right? Prints the address of X. 103070, right? Type of X. Prints the data type of X. Data type is what type? Integer type. Print X prints the content. ID of X prints the address. Type of X prints the data type of X. So you need to understand printing the content, printing the address, and printing the type. Now, observe this case too. And from here, everyone try to unmute yourself and try to respond from here. Right. From here onwards, I want the sessions to be interactive. Observe this case too. If I got X as 10, Y as 20. Now try to answer how many objects are created. Everyone. How many objects will be created for this X is 10, Y is 20? For 10, one object with some address. Y equal to 20, one more object. Try to respond, right? Everyone unmute yourself and try to respond. Otherwise, you can type your response in the chat. What is print X? It goes to this address and prints the content, whatever present there, right? If you want to print the address ID of X, 103070. If you want to print the type of X, what type? Integer. Similarly, for print Y, you say print Y, you say 20. Address, if I want to print the address, 104080. Yes. Type what type? As you are assigning integer value, integer type. So two different variables X and Y with two different values, then two different objects with two different addresses. Observe this case 3 now. X value is 10, Y value is 10. Try to answer how many objects will be created, everyone. How many objects will be created here? Observe carefully here. Only one object is created. For x equal to 10, one object created with some address. That is fine. That address given to x. But y equal to 10 means before creating the object for y, it checks any object with value 10 if it is already available. If already available, the same address will be given to y. X is 10, y is 10, z is 10. Don't think three objects will be created with value 10. Only one value, one object with value 10 gets created. Its address will be given to x, y, and z. Yes. So this x, y, and z, they are sharing the same content in the address. Print x, print y, print z. They are going to print the same value 10. Print address of x, address of y, address of z. Just 2 minutes I take. Type also integer type, right? All these three are integer type. So x, y, z are sharing the same content. And the next last case. Here not x and y. X and x only. X value is 10, x value is 20. X value is 10, x value is 20. For 10, one object with value 10 with some address. For x equal to 20 also one object and with some address. It's fine. But whenever I say print x, what is the x value it is going to print? Whether it will print 10 or 20 or both. If I say print 20, it always prints the latest value. Latest value means this one. Previously x value was 10, now x value is 20. Always it prints the latest value. If I say address of x also, it will print 104090, right? What happens to the previous one? It gets removed. It gets removed, right? So these are the four cases. First case, you see, like printing the content to 10, printing the address that is 1030, printing the type, it is enter type. In case 2, two variables 10 and 20, print x 10, print y 20. It's two different addresses. Case 3, 10, x is 10, y is 10, z is 10. If the values are same, only one object. Case 4, next is case 4, right? X is 10, x is 20. Always it prints the latest value. The previous one gets removed, right? So tomorrow just I'll be briefing you more on this data types and variables, types, fundamental types and collection types. Yes. So tomorrow also everyone can attend the session same time using the same link to see more on this. But from day after tomorrow, the link will be changing, right? You are supposed to get enrolled. Okay. For getting the new link to your mail address, right? Yes. So just observe this is that once again, just check this, just this is the course content, Python basics, operations, operators, IDs, flow controls, looping, strings, collections, Python list, tuples, sets, dictionary, functions, modules, packages, errors and exception, file handling, object-oriented programming concepts, regular expression, database access, date and time, Python, Opera OS module, GUI model, Excel workbook, analytics, introduction to data science, Python pandas model, right? Python pandas module, NumPy module, and Matplotlib. These 30 topics in brief we'll be discussing, right? And people who go for framework, that is Python full stack web development, be given knowledge on this Django framework. It's 15 to 20 applications will be developing. Django templates, Django views, Django admin, Django models, advanced concepts, and UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all this in brief. And I said, right, the duration of this for only Python core and advanced, 70 hours, we will be taking 2 months. 6,000 is the fee structure. For UI technologies, right, web development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. This is going to be discussed. Django framework, 15 to 20 applications, Flask framework, REST APIs, MySQL project. For all these 5 things, right, it also takes 70 hours, 2 months. Total like Python plus framework, 6 plus 7, 13,000. But if you're taking this every total package, single payment, right, 12K. 70 hours plus 70, 140 hours of this training, 2 plus 2, 4 months. And if you want to go parallelly also, you can go parallelly, right? Monday to Friday on Python, and the Saturday, Sunday, you'll be having classes, right? And you'll be getting the recorded videos, soft copy of this class notes, assignments and tasks, WhatsApp group link, resumes and interview questions, and live interactive sessions. And there's also big data package, I said, Hadoop, PySpark, Linux, along with that Python 2 months, core and advanced 2 months course will be included in that. So Hadoop, PySpark, Linux. It's a weekend batch for 12 weekends on Saturdays and Sunday. This Saturday at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, right? There is a batch starting, right? Python, you can attend your regular, like current batch, whatever you're attending now, you can attend any of my Python batch. And even people who wants to go parallelly, like Python and Python frameworks. This Saturday, there is one more batch starting for this. You want to go parallelly with UI technologies, Django, these things. Morning Saturday, 7 o'clock. Okay, fine. So you can attend the session tomorrow, same time, using the same link to see more on this, right? Yes. Any queries you got, anyone, right?
Hey, hi, this is Mallikarjun.
Yes.
Actually, whatever you are saying through the online, right? So, is it available offline? I mean, from where you are
No, no,
conducting this session?
Hyderabad. It's from Hyderabad.
Yeah, it's from Hyderabad, right? So, you are saying
It's,
from your
it,
home
it,
or from the
it's
institute?
so here 1 second. It's morning 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock, right? It's from my home
Yeah,
on. So it's a totally online batch. It's not an offline batch.
okay. Any offline sessions from your end? Because like your way of
No,
think.
no, 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 no. Keeping everyone in mind, right? The batch kept at 6 o'clock is for this total India and US people, right?
Yeah,
So there is no offline batch, online batches only, right? Yes.
okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. I want the sessions to
This
be
session is
yes,
for only 1 hour, right? Or
yes,
2 hours?
1 hour only, daily 1 hour, 6 to 7.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Fine. And from tomorrow, I want the sessions to be more interactive. So everyone just have a headphone or earphone to just interact, right? For whatever statements we'll be entering in the technicals from tomorrow. So how to build the code, how to means how to execute a task. So from tomorrow, we'll be entering into the technicals of Python, data types, variables, this different strings, other things, right? So what all we have discussed, everything will be said, right? Whatever I shown in this course content. Even different types of modules related to different environments I'm discussing. Some modules related to databases, some related to data science, some related to big data, some related to operating system, some related to graphics, and how to create our own modules, right? So Python has got thousands of modules. Fine. So attend the session tomorrow also to see more on this. Fine. So if there are no other queries, I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time using the same link. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow.